Hello, I am Jaime Elizondo from Real Well Ranching, and I want to talk to you about the Total Grazing Program, which is a program, not an isolated event, because it takes into account every day of the year in the green season, the dry season, the fast growing season, the slow growing season, and whatever happens in between to achieve the best results in increasing your stocking rate, the number of productive animals you can maintain at a low cost per farm per year, and to improve your soil the fastest. This may sound like a pipe dream to some, but believe me, this has been proven around the world and is how nature manages grazing. Before man, of course. So let's talk about things that we can wrap our minds around. Let's talk about the goals when we decide on a grazing system or a grazing program. We want to achieve a high stocking rate, large number or larger number of productive animals in good body condition that we can maintain at a low cost. And we want to minimize overgrazing, to be able to produce more grass. And overgrazing happens whenever we graze a plant before it's fully recovered at the baby stage, and that happens many times when we do not have options or flexibility when grass growth slows down. It can slow down even in the green season because of a cold spell or too much rain that obscures the sun, and then the grass grows slower, or from too much heat. When it's very hot, the grass also grows slower. So we need the flexibility that the total grazing program gives you so you do not overgraze your plants even when this happens. And we need a reserve of standing hay, stockpile grass as a safety net, and to save money on hay, to put our livestock in it in the difficult seasons or part of the seasons of the year. Okay, so that is it in a nutshell, the objectives of the total grazing program. But it goes much further. We want our livestock to get the best performance possible in the green season. So we maintain the quality of our grasses in front of our livestock in the green season, because that is the time of the year when they can maintain good body condition, reach good body condition, have a high daily gain per animal, and have good weaning weights. By the way, I totally promote to have your livestock cabin when green grass is abundant and of high quality. And you can see why. You will save a lot of money on supplemental fed and hay. How much hay can we save per cow per year by feeding them stockpile grass, standing hay, instead of buying hay or making it ourselves? Around $300 per cow per year. How much money can we make by doubling our stocking rate, the number of productive animals we maintain at a low cost per farm per year? We can increase our profits like 3 times, 300%. And we have been able to achieve this double stocking rate compared to any type of rotational selective grazing out there. And there are many, and they have different names. But they are names because they all do basically the same. They do selective grazing. You see, in the world, in the whole world, there are only 2 types of grazing styles. One is selective grazing, the other one non-selective grazing. That's it. There are no more. So we can call them any way we want. In the total grazing program, we do non-selective grazing with its high harvest efficiency only on well-recovered grass plants. Why? Because we want them to produce more, yield more, and create stronger roots and crowns reserves. When you do not overgraze grass plants, the roots go deeper. So you have a drought security there, and the roots grow stronger, fatter. And because of the non-selective grazing, on our grass, we are able to reduce the interplant spacings of our best and most desirable species. And that's what creates a much larger solar panel to capture more sunlight in your farm. Okay, let's talk about that, the solar panel, the importance of the leaf to stem ratio in the regrowth. You need to know that green leaves with chlorophyll create energy through photosynthesis, right? We all know that. But you also need to know that we need to discount from that energy created by green leaves the energy consumed by respiration. And stems mostly consume energy and do not create energy, and they consume it by respiring. So the leaf to stem ratio that we can achieve in the regrowth under the total grazing program is much larger than when we selectively grazed our grass with our livestock, because livestock select the best and reject the rest. And that means they will consume the leaf because they have much higher digestibility than stems, and they will leave the stems behind attached to the roots and crowns, continuing to spend energy that should be used to generate the regrowth, a vigorous regrowth. And that's why when you do selective grazing, the regrowth is not as vigorous as a total graze on well-recovered plants. Now, why do I call it a total graze instead of a non-selective graze? Well, it's just semantics. In reality, it's the same. It's a non-selective grazing. But to specify that it's only done on well-recovered plants and on a short time to avoid regrazing the regrowth, I call it a total graze. And I call it the total grazing program because we include the paddocks that we set aside to stockpile to use later to save a lot of money on hay and to increase the soil organic carbon, the long-lived organic carbon. You see, there are two types of organic carbon, organic matter in our soils. One is termed labial. It's a short-lived organic matter, and it comes from crop residues, roots slushing off, manure, urine of your livestock, and litter left by your livestock behind. And it lasts only for a few months or 2 or 3 years, and that's it. What we want is long-lived organic matter that lasts over 100 years. And that's what we have been mining off our soils. Why do I say this? Why do I mention long-lived organic matter? Because we can only increase long-lived organic matter in the stockpiling area. You see, and this has been known only for the last 9 years. It is the microbes in the soil, when they get fat, that get converted into long-lived organic carbon in your soil. And what do they need to get fat? Oh, by the way, up to 80% of the new organic, long-lived organic carbon in your soil is created this way. Not by litter, not by crop residues, not by roots slushing off. That only represents around 10% of the new long-lived organic carbon in your soil. Because there are different cycles. All of them are important, the long-lived and the short-lived, yes. But we want to focus our efforts on the long-lived organic carbon in our soil. So we only create it when we are stockpiling. So if the grazing program you select does not include stockpiling, that means not calling the leftovers stockpile. That's not a stockpile. That is trash, leftovers. And your livestock will not do well on that. But they will do well when you do a total graze and then allow it to stockpile. And that's what we do. But when do you do that? Well, in the green season, of course, not in the dry season. And we do that also to maintain high quality in your grasses in front of your livestock. So you see, we consider everything. And it starts from how long-lived soil organic carbon is created. Other systems. Do not consider this because this is new knowledge, as I said 9 years ago. Okay, now that we know that, how important is the leaf to stem ratio in your stockpile to generate fat microbes in the soil? Well, when your grass plants get to maturity or a long rest, let's say 3 to 6 months rest, the root exudates, that high energy liquid, return to the soil through the roots of your plants, becomes or changes from sugary to fatty oil. And then the microbe feeding on that will grow fat. It's been found that the amount of fat that you produce per acre per year in this way determines the amount of long-lived organic carbon you're going to be left with. Why? Because these microbes are digested by many other generations of microorganisms, and at the end they are turned into humus by fungi after a maturation process, like when you mature cheese or wine, maturity process. So then it turns into humus or long-lived organic carbon in your soil, and then it lasts over 100 years. Okay, another important thing about stockpiling. Why do we stockpile? Only to generate more carbon? Only to long-lived carbon? Only to save $300 per cow per year on hay? Or do we have a more and higher purpose? Yeah, we have a more and higher purpose. And it is recruitment of seedlings of your best species. You see, when you are rotationally grazing at a high stocking rate, that determines profitability. The number of productive animals you maintain at a low cost per year determines profitability. So when you are grazing rotationally, selectively, your livestock come back sooner to regraze a certain paddock, and the seedlings that may be germinating will be preferentially grazed and killed by pulling them out with the roots and all. And that's what happens under selective rotational grazing at the high stocking rates needed for profits these days. Okay. Another important thing, desirable species composition in your pasture or range. When you do selective grazing, your livestock will preferentially graze the regrowth, tender regrowth of your higher quality species, and they will preferentially reject your less desirable species. What does this do to your desirable species composition? Well, it shifts to undesirable. And having overgrazed weak roots in your desirable plants allows shrubs and weeds to invade your pasture or range. So you have seen this happen in the last 50 years. I have pictures of 100 years before of a range with one mesquite tree, and now I stand on the same spot, and there are hundreds of them. And the grass that was tall and lush and better species now is short and weak and non-desirable species. Well, this happens because of overgrazing under selective grazing, of course, continues. But even after 20, 30 years of selective rotational grazing, the land did not improve. But after 6 months of a total graze and total rest, the land did improve. Instead of desertifying, the bare spots started to cover with grass. You may say, what does that matter if I am in a more higher rainfall environment? Well, it matters because the desirable species also can become bonsai, very short, very small, very weak. We want them strong. Strong roots, strong plants, close together, and that's what holds your soil together against water erosion or wind erosion, not later. So be careful with what grazing program you choose. I invite you to the total grazing program where we take all this into consideration and you improve your soil year over year, which ensures your profits for today and for the future. Have a great day.